Hey guys, it's Smudge here and we're back in DCS, and today we're taking a look at the Hawk. This is the T1-A Hawk, which is made by VEAO Simulations. Now the Hawk is is an aircraft I've been looking forward to very much. I just picked it up on the DCS sale that was on recently. So I thought that we'd take a look at this and see what it's like. Now the Hawk, of course, is a fast jet trainer in use by the Royal Air Force, and it's also the aircraft used by the Red Arrows. So it's an aircraft that's generally well known by people all over the world. Now this Hawk, being made by VEAO, is a company or a developer that I hadn't really heard of much previously, and I was a little kind of worried about the quality of the products that they might be making, whether or not they'd kind of stand up against other DCS modules in terms of their realism and quality, I suppose. But after spending just even a few minutes with this aircraft, it's clear that they've done an exceptional job, and they really have done this aircraft justice. And I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing how this develops. Now the Hawk currently is still on a SFM or standard flight model, so it is still kind of very much under development, although I believe that the AFM is going to be coming along soon, or the advanced flight model. So how the aircraft handles at the moment isn't quite necessarily as realistic as it could be, or as it may be in the final product, if you will. Now one thing I do love, as you can just see here, that there's a few aircraft on the pan here. They've done a lot of skins for this aircraft, like different squadron skins and anniversary skins, and some of them are absolutely beautiful, and we'll just take a quick look at these now. So this is the DCS Fighter Collection skin, which again is quite neat on the training black. Then we got the Royal Air Force Red Arrow skins, which are absolutely beautiful, and as you can see, every rivet on this aircraft is visible, and it really kind of does a lot of justice, and the people that model these have done an absolutely fantastic job with that. Now we've got some standard RAF training black skins, as well as ones with squadron insignia on. Got some Royal Navy training skins, as well as some more Red Arrows, and again some more variants on the black training skin. There's an American aggressor squadron skin, which is quite neat. Again, some more Navy type training ones. A VEAO Simulations skin, which is quite cool. And a anniversary skin here, 1974 to 2004, the 30th anniversary Hawk skin. Again, some more Navy, Saudi Arabian, I believe it is, Air Force skin. And again, some more kind of anniversary type skins. And this one's really cool. It's the RAF Benevolent Fund skin. Now, I worked with the Benevolent Fund when I was in the Air Force doing charity and fundraising and things like this. And it is a very beautiful skin, and something they've done quite well with. So yeah, that's the skins there. So what we're going to do now is take a look at starting the aircraft up, and then again, because it's on an SFM, it's not really kind of fully representative of how the aircraft's going to fly, but we'll have a quick fly about anyway, and then we'll land. So right, let's get through the startup sequence. Now, with this being a fast jet trainer, it's an aircraft that pilots go on to before they go on to things like the Tornado and the Typhoon. So its primary purpose is to help teach pilots how to operate jet aircraft at speed. So because of that, this is a fairly simple aircraft to operate. It doesn't have kind of overly complex levels of complexity. That sounds really stupid, but it kind of makes sense in my own mind. So the startup sequence again is really quite straightforward. Now you'll have to excuse me, I do get quite bad FPS when I'm in the cockpit in this. It may just be because some of the textures are unoptimized, but it does stutter just a little bit in cockpit. That's not a recording thing, I'm getting that too. But hopefully as time goes on, they'll develop this further, and then things like the FPS in the cockpit will come up. So anyways, the startup sequence. First thing to do is to turn on the fuel cock, which is just down here. So you switch that to off to on. You turn the engine master switch from off to on, not to start. If you turn them to start, it just flicks back to on, but that comes later. You then turn on the batteries, which are there. You turn on the engine ignition switch, which is just here, and then you can also turn on the fuel pumps. So then we come back, so because we've turned on the power systems and things like that, again we've got lights on the front, so we just clear off the master caution. What we can also do now is come down and then turn on the oxygen and oxygen valves. Yeah, I've only done this once, so I'm still kind of coming through this myself. And then again, you've got radios and things like this you can turn on as well if you want to. So the next step comes in starting up the GTS, and I believe that's the gas turbine starter. You need to spool it up before you can fire up the engine, and this is you need to bind a key to it in the options. I've set it to something on my HOTAS, but it's under options under engine controls. So you press and hold this for 15 seconds, and then this light here where it says GTS will turn green, and then when that turned green, that's when you're ready to start up the engine. So we'll just hold down the button and then wait for that to light up. That should happen there. There we go. So now that that's green, the starter's ready to go. So the next thing that we do is that we kick the engine start button here into start, and then we keep an eye on the engine RPM. When that gets to 15%, we hit this button here just next to the throttle, which brings it out of its idle indent, and then that starts the engine up. So let's do that now. So we press that into start. We can see that the turbine's starting to rotate and the RPMs are coming up. When that gets to 15%, we pull the throttle out of its indent, and then fingers crossed the engine will continue to rotate as it is now. So that's absolutely fantastic. So the engine is starting up, and again no noise. Oh, there we go, some noise from the outside, not from behind but from in front. Yep, silent noise. But again, this is still something very much under development. Now what we'll do there actually is that we'll just pull the canopy down just by pulling on the handle there. Then once the canopy is shut, we'll secure it and then lock it in place. So that's the canopy shut, and that's the engine idling at 55%. So that's the aircraft pretty much ready to go. Now as you can see on the caution panel, there's one button left, which is hide to. And in order to clear that, you need to press the hide to button here, which will then start pressurizing the hydraulic system, and then that light goes out. So that's the engine on and the hydraulics sorted, but as you can see, none of the avionics systems here, or the trackball artificial horizon ball, is still skew with. So what we need to do is that we need to start that aligning. There's a rotator knob here that's got off, DG and slave. So we move that into the slave mode, and then the aircraft starts doing its navigation alignment. Now this takes 3 minutes in order for it to go through its alignment, and then through that point all of these flags will start switching off, things will start twirling and twitching, and then all of the navigation and avionics systems start spinning into life and start switching on. So we can just leave that to kind of happen now. Now other things we can do, there are kind of radio switches, you've got taxi lights and things like that you can all switch on. Again, you've got more radio kind of things over here you can switch on if you want to. Again, you can program in like VHF, UHF frequencies and all this type of stuff, but I'm not really kind of bothered programming frequencies at the moment. You know, it's not kind of really required. So again, just there you go, trackball starting to move now. So that's the systems coming up, but like I said, it does take 3 minutes for that to complete its startup. So again, kind of looking around the cockpit here, the Hawk does actually have weapon systems at the moment. So these are the controls for rocket pods and bombs, which you can carry a pair of. You've got gun armament here. It carries an Aiden cannon on a centerline hardpoint. And then these controls here for AIM-9 sidewinders. So they're the controls to arm the sidewinders and things there. Again, you've got the flight stick here and the throttle. Yep. Okay, so sorry about this. It doesn't seem to be working now. Okay. So again, we're just waiting for our systems to continue their alignment here. This shouldn't take too much longer. And then I think you know that they're aligned because these tabs disappear. Okay, so that's the HSI is lighting up there. Okay, so I believe that's part of the alignment complete. And what you can do is that you can push the sync. So that's the flag's gone away, and that's the navigation system switched on, which is cool. So let's taxi out now, and then we'll take off, and we'll go from there. So again, just testing all my controls here, making sure that everything's kind of as it should be. Again, sorry about the FPS here. It's not something I've been able to kind of do anything about. It could be the shadows in the cockpit that are causing it. I don't know. I'm going to have a bit of more of a play about with that. And again, we're passing some of the absolutely lovely skins that they've got there for the Hawk. Now, even though this does have a HUD, as you can see here, it doesn't show flight information. All it shows is target reticles when you turn on like the weapon systems. So if we put that in and then arm up the HUD, as you can see there, it brings up a targeting reticle. And then if we uncage that, then that turns it off. So what we have here, this is the master arm switch. So you right click, it puts the master arm key in, and then you move it from unlock and then arm, and then that brings the system on. And then again, you just switch that off there. Oops, coming a little fast up here. And then we'll turn onto the runway. Again, lovely clear blue skies. So we'll bring ourselves to a stop here. Now, just as a little bit of cockpit familiarization, we've got the HSI, or the navigation systems here. We've got the speedo, which shows Mach and knot. A G accelerometer, turn and slip indicator. We've got our altimeter and engine gauges here, as well as fuel gauge. This blinking thing here is our oxygen indicator. And then down here, this is our undercarriage switch. We've got up and down. And then this is our flaps indicator. So you got up, mid, and down for the flaps. But we'll be taking off without flaps because it's not really required. So let's taxi out to the runway here, and then we'll take on off. So that's just aligned on the center, so we'll throttle up to full power. And then we'll roll down the runway. So that's speed coming up really quickly now, so that's 100 knots. Now we'll just start gently pulling back on the stick. Then at about 150, that's us airborne. So we'll retract the undercarriage there, and then that's the undercarriage coming up. And that's us airborne. Again, this is a very, very beautiful aircraft to fly. It's very, very, very responsive. So as we're climbing up here, again we're at full throttle in a climb out, 30 degrees nose up, which is quite tall, and we're still maintaining 200 knots. But again, this is on a standard flight model, so it does have a basics physics engine. Now, as you can see, this aircraft rolls incredibly quickly, and it does have very, very direct input. So again, we'll come into a quite a tight turn here. About 2G with a peak of 4G in the turn there. And then we'll just buzz the runway. Again, just getting a little bit of air noise there at speed, so that's us at 400 knots. And we could just pull straight up. And that's us absolute 90 degrees nose up. Just going below 150 knots there. So if we pull back on the stick, we can roll off over the top. So as you can see, this is a very, 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 very easy aircraft to fly. And then that's back up above 200 knots again. So a nice quick vertical climb out there. So we'll just have another look at the aircraft externally here. As you can see, it does have an air brake, which is quite cool. Yeah, very, very, very sleek aircraft. Very beautiful. Okay. So I think what we'll do here now is that we'll just come in for a quick landing. So just pop out the air brake and then roll down here. Drop the undercarriage, full flaps, air brakes out, speed's coming down, that's 150, well 160, nearly 150. And then a nice gentle touchdown on just off the centre line. And again, very, very, very cool aircraft. And then just aero braking down the runway. Oops. And we'll just bring this to a stop here. That's another funny thing. Whenever you hit the brakes, the compass jolts. That's an interesting. But again, early access, and so far I'm actually kind of really happy with how this is progressing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing not only how this develops, but VEAO are also working on the P40, the VEAO Hawk, which is something I'm really quite looking forward to, and of course they're also working on the Typhoon, which again should be absolutely awesome. But again, that's an aircraft I'm also quite very curious about, because being fairly new to the Royal Air Force, it's one of these aircraft that's still very much classified. So it'd be interesting to see to what extent they can kind of publish information about that. So yeah, again, I'm interested, or very interested, to see kind of what VEAO can. Trying to switch off the blooming battery switches here. Yeah, again, very interested to see kind of what they're going to produce in the near future. So that's the Hawk, and this is Smudge. I hope that you've enjoyed this, just a quick video looking at the Hawk, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.